Billionaire fires struggling single dad as a test. His calm response changed her life. The rain poured down as Michael Carter cleaned out his desk, family photo in hand, his daughter Emma smiling back at him through the glass. Just fired from the only job that kept a roof over their heads, he should have been devastated. Instead, he looked up at Victoria Stone, the cold-eyed billionaire CEO who just terminated him, and said something that would haunt her for years to come. If you're wondering what happens next in this emotional journey of two people from different worlds, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to see more life-changing stories that remind us what truly matters. Victoria Stone had everything money could buy. At 38, she'd built Stone Enterprises from nothing into a billion-dollar tech empire. Her corner office overlooked Manhattan, her wardrobe consisted exclusively of designer labels, and her name appeared regularly on Forbes lists. What she didn't have was peace of mind. "The quarterly numbers look excellent, Ms. Stone," said Bradley, her CFO, sliding a tablet across her immaculate desk. "Profits up 17%. Victoria barely glanced at the figures. "Not good enough. Wayland Tech increased by 23% last quarter. I want to know why we're falling behind." The executives around her conference table shifted uncomfortably. No one wanted to be the next casualty of Victoria's legendary temper. 3 department heads had been fired in the past month alone. "Perhaps it's an employee efficiency issue," suggested Diane from HR, adjusting her glasses nervously. "Our productivity metrics show." "Then fix it," Victoria interrupted. "I want a full workforce evaluation by the end of the week. Anyone not pulling their weight goes. No exceptions." After the meeting, Victoria stood at her window, watching the city below. Despite her success, a hollow feeling had taken root inside her. Her therapist called it emptiness. Victoria called it focus. When you reached the top, what else was there but staying there? Her intercom buzzed. "Ms. Stone, your mentor Richard Klein is on line 1. Victoria smiled. Richard was the only person who could still get through to her without an appointment. The retired billionaire had taken her under his wing 15 years ago when she was just starting out. "Richard, how's retirement treating you?" "Better than you're treating your employees, from what I hear," came his gravelly voice. Victoria sighed. "Not you too. I'm running a business, not a charity." "That's exactly what I used to say," Richard replied. "Until it cost me my family, my health, and nearly my soul." "I'm not you, Richard. No, you're worse. At least I knew how to see people as people, not just numbers on a spreadsheet." The conversation left Victoria irritated. Richard had gone soft in his old age. Sentiment had no place in business. Across town, in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in Queens, Michael Carter was helping his 9-year-old daughter Emma with her homework. "I don't understand fractions, Dad," Emma sighed, pushing her math book away. "Think of it like pizza," Michael said patiently. "If you have one whole pizza and cut it into 4 pieces, each piece is 1/4 of the whole." Emma's eyes lit up. "So 3 pieces would be 3/4. "Exactly. See? You're brilliant at this." After tucking Emma into bed, Michael settled at his small desk, surrounded by bills. His job in the IT department at Stone Enterprises wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills, mostly. Since losing his wife to cancer 3 years ago, he'd been barely keeping his head above water financially. His phone rang. It was his sister, Kate. "How are things?" she asked. "Same as always. Working hard, raising Emma, trying to make ends meet." "Any word on that promotion?" Michael sighed. "Not yet. But I'm hopeful. The department review is this week, and my team lead hinted I might be in line for a senior position." "That would be great. You deserve it, Mike. No one works harder than you." After hanging up, Michael looked at the photo of his late wife, Sarah. "I'm trying my best," he whispered. I promise I'm trying. The next morning, Victoria arrived at Stone Enterprises earlier than usual. She'd decided to personally observe some departments, starting with IT, a division that had shown inconsistent performance lately. The IT director, James Harrison, nearly spilled his coffee when Victoria appeared at his office door. "Ms. Stone. We weren't expecting you." "That's the point, James. Show me around. I want to see how things actually run, not how you prepare them to look when I visit." As they walked through the department, Victoria noted everything: workstations that weren't fully organized, employees who took too long to respond to her questions, and the overall efficiency of the operation. "Who's that?" Victoria asked, pointing to a man intently focused on his computer screen, lines of code reflecting in his glasses. "That's Michael Carter. One of our best troubleshooters. Been with us for 5 years. Victoria observed him for a moment. "He seems focused. What's his productivity rating?" James hesitated. "His numbers have dipped slightly in the past quarter, but there are extenuating circumstances. He's a single father, Anne." "I don't care about personal circumstances," Victoria interrupted. "Either he meets the standards or he doesn't. With respect, Miss Stone, Michael stays late almost every night. He picks up shifts others won't take. His customer satisfaction rating is the highest in the department." Victoria narrowed her eyes. "But his raw productivity numbers are down?" "Yes, but..." "No buts. That's all I need to know." That afternoon, Michael was summoned to HR. His heart raced as he rode the elevator up. Was this about the promotion? Instead, he found Victoria Stone herself sitting next to the HR director, her expression unreadable. "Mr. Carter, please sit down," said the HR director, not quite meeting his eyes. Michael knew instantly. This wasn't about a promotion. "Your productivity metrics have fallen below acceptable levels for 2 consecutive quarters," Victoria stated, her voice businesslike. "Stone Enterprises maintains excellence by ensuring all employees meet our standards." "Ms. Stone, if I could explain," Michael started. "The numbers speak for themselves. Your employment is terminated, effective immediately." Michael sat very still, absorbing the blow. 5 years of dedication, gone in a sentence. His mind raced to Emma, to their rent due next week, to the medical bills still unpaid. Victoria watched him, waiting for the typical reactions: anger, pleading, or tears. She'd seen them all before. What she didn't expect was calm. Michael took a deep breath and looked directly at her. "I understand. May I ask one thing? Not for me, but for whoever replaces me. The Anderson account has specific technical requirements that aren't documented. I'd like to write those up before I leave." Victoria blinked, surprised. "You want to help the company that just fired you?" Michael nodded. "The work matters, even if my role in it is ending. And my team shouldn't suffer because I'm gone." "That's commendable," Victoria said, genuinely confused by his reaction. As Michael gathered his belongings, Victoria found herself following him to his desk. Something about his response had unsettled her usual certainty. "You're not angry," she observed. Michael carefully placed a framed photo of his daughter into his box. "Being angry won't help me find another job or explain to my daughter why I'm home early today." "You have a daughter?" "Emma. She's 9. He smiled slightly, despite everything. "Smart as a whip. Wants to be a scientist." Victoria felt an unexpected pang. "And her mother?" "Cancer, 3 years ago." Michael's voice remained steady. "Life happens. You adjust and keep going." As he closed his box of belongings, he turned to Victoria. "Ms. Stone, may I say something?" She nodded, strangely unable to refuse. "Success isn't just what you build, it's what you leave behind. Right now, you're leaving fear and resentment. Is that the legacy you want? Their eyes met, and for the first time in years, Victoria felt truly seen. I hope you find what you're looking for, Miss Stone. I really do. With those words, Michael Carter walked out of Stone Enterprises, leaving Victoria standing alone, his box of personal items clutched in her hands. That night, Victoria couldn't sleep. Michael's words echoed in her mind. She pulled up his employee file on her tablet, reading beyond the productivity metrics she'd fixated on earlier. Michael had never taken a sick day. He'd received commendations from clients. Notes showed he often stayed late to help colleagues with difficult problems. His slight decrease in productivity had started the same month his daughter had been hospitalized for pneumonia. Victoria set down her tablet and walked to her floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out at the city lights. For the first time in years, she felt ashamed. The next morning, she called Richard. I think I made a mistake, she admitted, something she'd never said aloud before. Richard's voice softened. The best thing about mistakes, Victoria, is that most of them can be fixed. Michael sat at his kitchen table, surrounded by job listings. Emma was still asleep, and he dreaded having to tell her he'd lost his job. His phone rang with an unknown number. Mr. Carter? This is Victoria Stone's assistant. Ms. Stone would like to meet with you this morning. She can come to you, if that's more convenient. 2 hours later, Victoria Stone, in her usual impeccable designer suit, sat somewhat awkwardly on Michael's worn couch. Emma had been introduced briefly before being sent to play in her room. Your home is... Victoria searched for words. Small? Modest? Michael offered. Warm, she finished. It feels lived in. Loved. Michael waited, curious about why the CEO who fired him yesterday was sitting in his living room. I made a mistake, Victoria said finally. I looked at numbers when I should have looked at people. I'm here to offer you your job back, with a promotion to senior systems analyst and a 30% raise. Michael's eyebrows shot up. Why the change of heart? Victoria placed his employee file on the coffee table. Because you were right. About all of it. I've built a company culture based on fear instead of support. I've measured success purely in profits, not in impact. She hesitated, then continued more softly. And because last night was the first time in years I've questioned whether I'm living a life worth living. That's a heavy realization, Michael said gently. Yes, Victoria admitted. Your reaction yesterday, wanting to help even as you were being let go, it showed me something I've forgotten: integrity isn't conditional. Michael considered her offer. I appreciate this, but I need to know, would you be doing the same for others in my position who don't have the chance to speak with you personally? Victoria smiled slightly. That's exactly what I hoped you'd ask. I've instructed HR to review all terminations from the past 6 months. And I'd like your help redesigning our performance metrics to account for quality and teamwork, not just raw productivity. That sounds like a start, Michael said. I accept your offer, Ms. Stone. Victoria, please. As she prepared to leave, Emma ran out from her room. Dad, can we still go to the Science Museum this weekend even though you have to work again? Michael looked at Victoria, who nodded. Take the day. Family comes first. As Victoria walked toward her waiting car, Michael called after her. Victoria? We're having pasta for dinner tomorrow night. Nothing fancy, but Emma's helping cook. You're welcome to join us. Victoria turned, surprised. Why would you invite me? Michael smiled. Because everyone needs somewhere to belong, even billionaires. For the first time in longer than she could remember, Victoria Stone felt something new: hope. Over the next 6 months, Stone Enterprises underwent a transformation. Victoria implemented a comprehensive wellness program, flexible working hours for parents, and a mentorship initiative pairing executives with employees from different backgrounds. Michael became her most trusted advisor, helping reshape the company culture from the ground up. Employee satisfaction skyrocketed, and surprisingly, so did productivity and profits. Victoria became a regular guest at Michael and Emma's dinner table. She helped Emma with science projects and found herself looking forward to their simple family evenings more than the elite galas that had once filled her calendar. One evening, as Emma cleared the dishes, Victoria turned to Michael. "I've been thinking about what you said that day. About legacy." Michael nodded, waiting for her to continue. "I'm starting a foundation," Victoria said. "For single parents in technology. Scholarships for their children, career development, emergency assistance. Would you help me design it?" "I'd be honored," Michael said. "But why this particular cause?" Victoria smiled, watching Emma carefully carrying plates to the sink. "Because you showed me that strength isn't measured by how hard you can be, but by how much you can care when caring is hard." Michael's eyes softened. "You've changed, Victoria." "No," she corrected him. "You helped me remember who I was supposed to be all along." 1 year after that fateful firing, Victoria stood on stage at the annual company meeting, Michael beside her as the newly appointed Chief of Employee Development. "A year ago, I thought leadership meant never showing weakness," Victoria told the gathered employees. "I was wrong. True leadership is recognizing that our humanity, our capacity for compassion, forgiveness, and growth, isn't a weakness. It's our greatest strength." She looked at Michael, who smiled encouragingly. One act of dignity in the face of unfairness changed everything. Not just for me, but for all of us. Today, Stone Enterprises isn't just more profitable, we're more purposeful. And that makes all the difference. As applause filled the auditorium, Victoria knew that the hollow feeling that had haunted her for so long was finally gone. In its place was something better: connection, purpose, and the quiet satisfaction of becoming the person she was always meant to be. Sometimes the greatest test isn't what we achieve, but how we respond when everything falls apart. And sometimes, the most powerful words aren't spoken from a position of strength, but from a place of calm dignity when we have every right to be angry. Michael had taught Victoria that true power isn't found in controlling others, but in mastering yourself, and that the most valuable commodity isn't money, but kindness. In trying to test his character, she had ultimately discovered her own. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring content that reminds us of our shared humanity. Remember, sometimes the most life-changing moments come when we least expect them, and often from the people we least expect them from. Until next time, remember that kindness isn't weakness, it's the ultimate strength.